And let's jump into it. So again, another town hall. We've got Edward to join us here this morning for a few minutes, just to share some of the stuff that he's seeing. We had him with us a couple of weeks ago at our TSC, and it's almost a month ago, 3 weeks ago, almost a month ago. But it's amazing how much has changed in the world and just the environment in the last little bit. So we've got Edward here. We've got some franchisees that have been problem solving some things that a lot of other people have. So we basically asked some people to join us to be able to share some of the solutions. And I think that's what the town hall will start to be used for a little bit more moving forward, is to be able to share best practices across the entire organization and country. I think there's a lot of people doing some really cool and different things to get results, opposed to just the one method. And I think using one method's made us vulnerable in the past. And I think it's crazy to think about, just what's been going on with coronavirus. It's actually going to make us more resilient, I would think, just like a virus might in the body, if you will. For us, we're going to come out of this with so many different, let's say, tools. Where we were vulnerable before, we'll be a lot stronger now, and I'm just excited for, I guess, where we're at. So agenda, just so everyone knows, Edward, I'll give you the floor first. We've got some franchisees to share some of the things that they've been doing to get some successes. Tony, you can share some of your thoughts and just in general on what you're seeing, and we'll wrap it up. So thanks, everybody. Great to see everybody this morning. And Edward, I'll pass it off to you to share some of the things that you've been seeing over the last little while, especially since we've been together last.
Sure. Thank you. And I hope people will write in comments about your beard and what we think about your beard or lack thereof.
I wouldn't call that a beard. I wouldn't call that a beard. I don't have the.
I wouldn't call it a beard, but maybe you do.
I don't have the audacity for that. I don't have the Edward. I'm working on the Edward, but it's going to take me a year.
But you have to have a part-time gig as Father Christmas to get this.
There you go.
Anyway, I know I was talking to Tony earlier this week, and he asked me to pop on for a few minutes, and I'm sorry it's only a few minutes, because since we last spoke, we're beginning to see some of the things. Of course, this comes from maybe more of a US perspective, but I don't think it's not relative to Canada. What we're seeing, and it's logical, is the stretching of the haves and have-nots. We know that the haves and have-nots was something we spoke about and we've had in our brand strategy coming out of the Great Recession, the removal of the middle class, if you like, the injury to the middle class. But what we're really seeing now is that you've got people, we're talking about people with disposable income, and they stretch from I saw the comments on WhatsApp, someone with incredible amount of money but wants a $10 discount because his wife is classified as Native American or whatever, and we've got others who, let's call it, you'd think are comfortable, but they are actually now struggling to consider disposable income. What can they spend money on? And I think it requires College Pro franchisees and their crews to be exceptionally focused on understanding that when we are chosen to do a job, a customer, the great majority, is a really considered decision this year to use us. Not just, hey, it's spring, it's summer, thank God the virus is not as bad as we thought, whatever, let's get our windows clean or gutters cleared. This is a considered decision. There's a lot of people saying, hey, it's summer, we love our windows clean, gutters, but we can't afford it. We can't afford that $200, $300. We'd rather put food on the table. Even for people with German makes of cars on their driveway. I want to make it, we're seeing at the top end incredible spending on everything home, where Restoration Hardware reopened in Austin this week, and they had a line around the block to spend money. Now that's socially distanced and all the rest of it. We're hearing, I heard stories yesterday of someone who knows a boat seller and he in the last few weeks has sold several, not a couple, several boats of $200,000 and above, sight unseen on credit cards, and has sold more boats in 6 weeks than in the whole of 2019. And so there, and I'm speaking to the head of the largest home furnisher direct marketing agency in the United States, clients from all the Williams-Sonoma group, the Restoration Hard, all the great 300 clients. And they are reporting that business is amazing and online, the virtual stuff. And they are advising all their clients, if they're doing prospect mail, to raise demographic profile by 30%. So in other words, if your profile was 100,000, go 130,000. You know what I mean? It's the haves and the have-nots. Last week, California Closets on their virtual design appointment closed 99% of all appointments. And this is with the customer measuring their own closet and then sending California Closets 50% deposits for a job that can't be delivered yet. What the hell is going on? The pent-up demand for home services, home products, and the secondary thing, those that have money, those that don't. So all I'm saying to everyone who's working and pitching and selling, extra consciousness, please. Extra gratitude, please. Because every decision to use one of you and have us work in their homes is a very considered decision. This is not an out of sight, out of mind decision this year. This is a considered decision. So please think, that's that extra focus. Okay? That's what I really wanted to say. That's what we're noticing. The stretching of the haves and have-nots, which will only continue. Example, we think coming back, when it's all back, the wealthy will not travel commercial airlines again, even if it's business class. Who wants to stand in line, go through an airport for 3 or 4 hours, go on, blah, blah. So charter airlines, all this stuff, and that stretching is going to happen. So I just really ask us to consider that, Aaron, and everyone.
So two things that come out of that for me, for Edward. One is how grateful we should be. We've got millions of dollars booked already of people who said yes to us. There's probably a small opportunity for us to go back and thank them again. Mm-hmm. Sincerely thank them again as we're booking them. The second thing is, in terms of the ruthless decision making on the good areas in our geographies, to make sure we hit those. And hit those hard, hit those often, because that there is pent up, and that's critical. And on people, we've already moved to online and virtual. California Closets being able to do that just means everything that we have been doing in College Pro window cleaning, it's where the market is right now.
Yes, and it was probably happening anyway, but the pace at which it was catalyzed as a result of this is extra. It's not going back. It's not going back to some old school way when this is over. However, the new normal is this, actually. It'll be even more digitized.
And it's because what you also said with Restoration Hardware, they want some physicality.
Yes.
But the online is really, really ramped up. Great.
Yes.
Awesome. I know you we asked you to change one of your appointments to be on here, so appreciate your time.
No, I hope that was useful. It's just a little glimpse, and I'm happy to pop in and insult Aaron anytime.
I'll keep growing as much as I possibly can, and one day maybe in 2024 I'll make you proud, Edward. We'll see if I can color it though to match yours.
Well, I think if anyone's going to make you gray, the College Pro franchise system will do. Okay.
I'm still working here, so I'm working on it. I still got color, so thanks, everyone.
You guys, I'm watching you guys on WhatsApp, and I'm blown away, guys. I'm blown away by your consciousness, your activity. Wonderful. You're ahead, which is great, which is fantastic. So my congratulations. See you soon.
Thanks so much, Edward.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. Awesome. I think just for me, when I think about that, it's about taking advantage of an opportunity in a respectful, grateful way. And I think that's a huge piece. This pent up demand won't last, and there's a lot of people taking advantage of it. So we've got uh, 4 people actually this morning that'll share some of their, I guess, just what they're working on and their progress this week, and not just what their progress, but how they're doing it. And I'll start off actually with Mr. Dylan Giles. Dylan, if you want to jump yourself off mute and just share what you've been working on and what you've been doing this week.
Okay. How's it going, guys? So yeah, this week past 2 weeks I was kind of focused on production, getting myself set up, getting all my equipment. So I took a little bit of time off the marketing, and now this week I've tried to kind of make up for that. So I've set myself a goal of $10,000, which will be my biggest week yet, actually, in College Pro. So kind of an interesting time to do that, but so far I'm 2 days in and I've been able to hold my trajectory. So hoping I can for the rest of the week. As far as what I'm doing, really I've just been putting a lot of time into my PC calls. I have one other guy helping me, and we're literally just sitting down 5 hours a day just calling. I found for the most part, most people are starting to get more comfortable. I think one thing I've tried to do is just put on a sense of normalcy in terms of, if they're not mentioning Corona, I'm not mentioning it. I know I still have those policies in place ready to make sure I'm doing everything safe. But there's no need to bring up anything that's going to make them fearful of the job, in my opinion. So I've kind of just, been acting normal and booking it as though I normally would. If somebody does bring up the Corona, then I go hands on, and I'm very much like, especially with the outside jobs, I very much press the idea of, you don't need to answer the door. We can talk to the phone. We can work through e-transfer. Really, you can do this job without ever being in front of me. So I think, it's really there's an opportunity for us to generate these jobs just like we normally would. And so for this week, I found that it's been successful. And yeah, I'd say my key has just been to put on a face of normalcy. And although I'm still ready to take those safeguards and put the things in place to make sure everybody is safe, I don't think it's necessary for me to stress that to the customers, unless they ask. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Keep it up, Giles. I can't wait to see that 10K number in CPower on Sunday night. You're gonna have 100 people watching now. So
I know, intimidating.
Awesome. Thanks. We'll shift just out west to Winnipeg, Mr. Dan Thiessen. If you want to jump on, Jess was telling me about some of the stuff that you've been doing too. So why don't you share a little bit of what you've been working on?
So I had 2 things I wanted to touch on. One that helped me have a huge week last week was an agreement that I have with a maid service out in cottage country around Winnipeg. And basically what it is all the job she produces, she doesn't clean windows. So I just pay her a commission, and she'll pass my name on to her customers, and it's turned into roughly 20 grand worth of business for me. So that's something that actually Alex Dirksen and I have been talking about, and he reached out to a maid and has already gotten some business from her. So yeah, if you guys can do that with maid services, or painters historically have been good with College Pro, I definitely recommend doing that. And yeah, if you need more information, you can send me a message on WhatsApp, and I'll kind of tell you how it works for me. And then the other thing for me is I'm starting to train my 2 crews this week. So I knew I wasn't going to have a lot of time to go out and market myself. So just solving that problem to make sure that I'm taking advantage of the market when it's as hot as it is. What I've been doing is just hiring a bunch of marketers. If you pay them on a commission basis, it'll make sure that the good ones stick around, and then the bad ones basically won't stick around for you. And then another thing that I've done to attract more marketers, obviously a lot of people are looking for jobs right now, so that's really good. But I've made an incentive plan for the current marketers that I have, that if they bring a friend and that friend books at least 5 jobs, then I'll give them $20. So I mean, it gives them an incentive to bring their friend, who, I mean, they're going to have a good time marketing with a buddy anyway. And then the last thing, again, because I don't have a ton of time right now with starting production, I've gotten all my marketers to do estimates. That way they can sell jobs for me. Saves me a lot of time, so I can focus on production right now.
Perfect. Whole bunch of stuff going on with you there, Dan. So that's awesome. Thanks for sharing some of that. And then I'm going to come back into Ontario here, Mr. Ben Seeley. Why don't you've been doing a bunch of stuff with flyers, it sounds like, and a bunch of external. So why don't you share just some of the things you've been up to and your progress here so far this week?
Yeah. So after my production ready meeting, I realized that I need to know. My PC list was mostly used up, so I needed to hop on getting some more external. And without being, able to cold call, there was a whole flyering idea, like some people have done. So I kind of made my own flyer, based it off of the one on franchisee resources, mentioning that I'm a young student trying to make a living in the summer, but also trying to social distance like everyone else. I made those half page so that when I printed them, I'd get basically double what I ordered. So I used this to print, ordered like 500, basically got me like 1,000. Over the weekend and the last couple of days, I've been out delivering them, just putting them on customers' doors. I have 2 sisters, so I got them to help me out. And then from there, doing the Canada 411, so searching up their names or searching up the address on Canada 411, then just calling out and, if they got the flyer, then continuing to introduce myself and ask if they want an estimate. And if they didn't, sharing the same story. And so far I've had some really good results, and most of them have actually come from people just reaching out to me without me calling them. So people, just getting the flyer, thinking, oh yeah, it's spring starting, so I want my windows cleaned. So in the last couple of days, I think I've got 14 estimates just from those people calling in and getting the flyers, and I've got a couple from, reaching out and asking if they want an estimate as well. So that's been super successful for me so far.
Awesome. 14 estimates and that's so far, it's only Friday, right? We haven't even headed out into the weekend. So that's awesome, Ben. Thanks for sharing that. I think those flyers are people, the number of flyers that I've gotten in the last, 8 weeks are like nearly zero, right? You'll stand out a little bit more than normal when there's like a huge bundle, especially right now. And if it's personal, I think that makes a lot of sense. Awesome, Ben. And last but not least, we'll go back out westward. To Micah. Micah, it sounds like you've been getting some serious results here at the beginning, squeezing the orange, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely lots of orange juice being made this past week. Yeah, for me, I was definitely really excited to get back cold calling, and that's definitely been what's helping me the most as things kind of return to normalcy in some way back here in Saskatchewan. And what I did is I took my production team and we spent like an hour and a half going over the marketing training piece of paper that you guys gave us at TSB, and just going over like step 1, the foundation of marketing, and like all the things you need to learn all the way through step 8 of the marketing manager page. So they kind of see what the end goal as a marketer is to get towards, so they have what they can work towards there as well. Some micro versus macro, if you will, Aaron. And then on that, also really, really pushing the relational sell right now, and gratitude with everyone, whether or not they book with us, thanking anyone for their time at the door. On top of that, like really making sure that we're not breaking any social distancing rules while we are cold calling, in case that there are customers that are going to be extra sensitive to that. We're not getting within 10 feet of any customers. We ring the doorbell with our clipboards, so we don't actually touch anyone's door with our hands, and wearing gloves the whole time. But really pushing relational selling, pushing the fact that we are a local business, because the environment in Saskatoon right now is definitely support local. And if we can identify ourselves with that, with the fact that we're students and the fact that we're extremely grateful for the opportunity to do their business, like we've had nothing but support. And with what Daniel said just in the group chat, then like we haven't had anyone mention coronavirus as something that's making them nervous right now. It hasn't come up. And I feel like because we're taking that precaution, we can kind of still operate within those boundaries. But yeah, we've been doing pretty well. We've only gone for 2 days, but hopefully we can keep that momentum up there.
How many estimates have you done in the 2 days?
23.
There you go. So again, just another number. I just throw out the stats, right? I think like when I say the stats, like it just puts it in perspective, right? No real issues, following some simple but safe protocols, being grateful, and at the same time putting in the time and getting help and training people. I think that's, again, a lot of really good things that are happening in there. So thanks everybody for sharing. If anybody else wants to contribute, throw it in the chat. Everyone's reading some of that. Slady just has to add something. Yeah, jump in.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I just wanted to say, just like Edward was saying, telling our customers about the why, like we've talked about in our training session, it's so important. They're actually invested and they care about what your why is and why you're doing this. So I feel like me sharing my goals with them about the season has given me that extra support, and of course, thanking them for continuing to support you. And then for me, upselling just like always works. I feel like a broken record, but I honestly just ask them if there is anything else that they would need to get done. And the guys kind of helped someone reorganize their garage last week. So just doing whatever for them. But I think the why is what's been really important for me this week, is just telling them my goals and getting that support from them.
Hey, that's awesome. And I think, again, we've talked about that being important every year, but even, I mean, this year, I'll say maybe more important. The interesting piece is we probably have this like window of time, no pun intended, well, maybe a little bit of pun intended, but this window of time where like, it's interesting. We were packing, full-time team for Ontario was packing window cleaning, all the business kits. It was like a 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., like packing all the rookie equipment, senior equipment orders, like dragging stuff. It's not necessarily what you'd consider fun. And it was interesting to see how excited we were all to see each other in person. Is that we joked that it was the most high definition Zoom meeting we've had in a while with everybody in person. And Tony delivered some stuff, and Tony's kind of like, I don't know if I want to leave, right? Like it's like there's that bit of connection that people really want right now. So I think for you, Slade, I think there's like, again, a bit of an opening just for everybody. But what you're saying, I think, lands so much more right now, because people actually are missing those things that are out there, right? So anyways, that's awesome. Thanks for adding some of that stuff in. Tony, I'll pass it over to you. You can share some of what you're seeing for the week, and then we'll wrap things up.
Yeah, Jamie had something quick to share.
Yeah,
you asked.
Jump in. Sorry. Yeah, so like, I don't know, I'm following up with doing all my estimates from Facebook this week. I kind of scheduled them all in. Yeah, and like, thanks to Quinn for kind of pushing me to I had like a $6,000 goal for the week, but I hit that yesterday, so we bumped it up. But yeah, so like basically, I kind of found that customers, like when you're doing estimates, are gonna, like if you don't mention the coronavirus, like something's gonna come up that kind of mentions about it. So I always found, like I have like a health science background in school, so I just like kind of jump right for it and just explain what we do, how it's safe, like why it's safe, and why we can still do it. The customer, like I find, really respects that, and then they're more keen on booking. In my case, at least, I did like I think 10 estimates yesterday, and I think I booked 9 out of the 10 just because I was like upfront with them, explained it to them, and then also, yeah, like with Slade saying, upselling is like key right now. Last year I hated doing eavesdrops, so I would avoid it like the plague. But this year I know that like there's a lot to get out of that. So I went from doing like a $280 window job yesterday to like an $870 siding, eaves, and window job that I probably would have never booked unless I focused on upselling, which was really cool. I've also got some flyers made. I posted them in the chat. So I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of cold calling, but I know that there's some really big houses on my street. So I'm just figuring like put them in their mailbox and see what can kind of come of that.
Thanks, Jamie. So I had a bunch of stuff and I want to get going here. So there's a reason, first of all, being an entrepreneur is a contact sport, and being in college pro is a contact sport. So nothing happens until we become active in something. And just and not to forget that when a young person who's trying to build something for their lives comes to the door and stands 10 feet back, and let's say you don't want to start cold calling, or I don't care what you're doing, but you are hope to a lot of people and you are normalcy to a lot of people. So that's very, very important, and not to lose sight of that, because and that's what I wrote down when I was listening to all that. You are the hope. You're hope, and the local businesses and starting everything up, and not the things. It'll be a new normal, but you're part of that new normal. So it's very exciting. I'll tell you what I'm working on. I think I promised all those things that we don't want to lose sight of. The do no harm, all those things that are safe and successful. I've been talking about that for, I think, 7 weeks now. But I'm working on your 10X opportunity. And what I mean by that is, what does that actually mean? So as we emerge from this, we're going to have a great summer. I'm very confident. And by the way, that's a way better town hall than me talking the whole time. So thank you everyone for participating on that. But how are we going to, the hardcore skills that you're getting, the ability to make more choice in your life, access to each other in different parts of the community, those are the things that I'm thinking about, because I'm trying to solve the problem for all of you on 10X, that usually you have to wait 5 years to know it's a 10X. I'm trying to make sure by the end of the summer, and as we move into the fall, into next year, we have a lot of definable things that we're able to, as this model is shifting in real time, it is, you can see a lot of those 10X opportunities, and all of a sudden, what's really powerful is that we have an and. It used to be PCs and cold calling or nothing. Now we have many ands. And if I was a lot of other entrepreneurs, I'd be scared, because we haven't had these ands before. And now all of a sudden you put the and in College Pro's hands. I didn't want to rhyme that, but I guess it did. Now what do you do? Because what we didn't have is all of those other pieces through our organization, but we had all these incredible entrepreneurs who were doing all these cool things. Now we have all those other pieces, and we will be evolving. So I don't have much else to say on anything else, Aaron. I'm going to pass it back to you, because I know you need to close off with this cool thing that we're working on tomorrow. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and just to sum up some of the things that I was just hearing in a real quick way. So Dylan is getting results from PC calling. Dan, you're doing a bunch of networking and joint ventures in there a little bit. Ben, you're doing some specific and custom flyer drops. Micah, you're cold calling with gratitude and safe protocols. Slada, upselling. Jamie, getting back to all your Facebook leads. Like, it's 6 people, 6 different ways. And I think, like, that's exact, just to validate, Tony, what you're saying, like the and. Like, that's phenomenal results from 6 different ways, which is where we would have, I kind of started by saying we were vulnerable with just 1 before. We had 6 that people on this call are getting results from. That's what we've been really trying to build. I think that's why it's been a little bit tougher, I think, for the last 8 weeks, because we've been forced to be operating in a bit of a different environment. But end of the day, we're going to come out of that almost world with a whole bunch more tools, which I think is fantastic. So thanks for everybody sharing that, not just the results, but how you're getting them. I think that's something that's really important. Kind of something we haven't really done a phenomenal job of in the past, is sharing across the entire organization, all these different things. So with that said, tomorrow, I put it out yesterday, we're going to try a Canada-wide virtual cold call party. There's a lot of people out knocking on doors, and it's almost like it's kind of like market hacking. You know, it doesn't need to be necessarily knocking on doors, but tomorrow, I mean, there's like 6 of the 12 houses on my street, probably 6 of them have lawn care little signs out. People are like out getting work. There is the pent up demand. So tomorrow's a marketing day. This weekend's a marketing day. Definitely Sunday. Don't forget, if you didn't realize Sunday's Mother's Day, you're welcome. Sunday's Mother's Day. So make sure you get out and get something for your mom, but make sure that At the same time, that the focus this week is marketing. So 10 a.m. local time, there will be a Zoom link for every time zone. 10 a.m. local time for you. We will do one for Eastern time, one for Central time, one for Mountain time, one for Pacific time. Make sure you're on that and ready to go. Whether you're in your car on your phone, ready to go knock on some doors with some cold callers, whether you're about to pick up the phone and call some of your PCs back, whatever it is that you're about to go do, it's basically a group marketing focus tomorrow starting at 10. So I'll send the links out for the different, I'll send the link out, I guess, for the different time zones. It'll be the same link, but everybody will just use it at 10 a.m. local for you in your area. And let's build some momentum. I mean, everyone's heard me talk about it for years. You think that this is the time, right? You're literally this weekend going to build momentum one way or the other. You're going to take advantage of it, get a bunch of results, start having positive momentum, or you're not going to take action. You're not going to get results, which means you're falling behind and you've got negative momentum. And it's going to take double the energy to stop it going the one way and push it the other way. So let's use the group. And I think this is where the CP fam really gets strong. So, and pushes people forward. So no one left behind. Let's make sure that everybody's out there. And if you guys need anything at all, you know how to get a hold of us. So super proud of the group as a whole. Hopefully people took some learning and some tactics away from today. And as I said, always, if you guys need anything, don't hesitate to reach out, and we will see a lot of people tomorrow. So anyways, have a great rest of your Friday, everybody. Take care.